and check things out with our weather. Let's take a look first outside. It is kind of cloudy out there and gray, but not raining yet. And just stepping out, it is sticky.
Yep. It's returned.
Yes. Let's turn it. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy is here. What is happening, Chris?
I thought we were doing trivia right now, so I'm ill-prepared.
We've got trivia. Is this trivia for hurricanes?
Yes, because
Okay.
I was
Oh my gosh, no, don't apologize.
No, it's all
sorry,
good.
because also you're talking about the forecast. It's like I could tell you about it, but I
No.
have nothing prepared for that except for trivia questions.
No.
So-
Because I wanted to talk about the hurricane
Okay,
special
so
as
we'll get it out of the way. We have a tropical disturbance. It'll feel sticky. Clouds increase through today, and then we are anticipating rain on and off through tomorrow morning, through the afternoon, and then it's just kind of feeling like summer. That stickiness near 90 degrees, and we can wrap that up with a bow. But I really want to focus in on our hurricane special because that's what's going to be coming up at 8 o'clock today.
Okay, it is at 8 o'clock tonight.
Yep.
The Weather Impact team, including our Chris Mulcahy, doing this special. Going to walk you through all the predictions for the year. Going to take a look back at the devastation because, as Chris says, it's important to look at history and then explain a lot of this science and get you prepared. Hurricane season started Sunday, June 1st. It's going to take us through July, well into October. And all of the things. So tonight at 8 o'clock is when you want to watch here on WCNC Plus. We're going to bring that to you as well on WCNC Charlotte. And so he is testing our knowledge.
Yep.
Carlene and I are familiar with the canes.
Okay.
Yes.
We have experienced a number of them. So we should know Carlene, more or less.
We should.
We should.
But unless Chris throws us, a trick question, a little curveball, if you will.
They do by the back end. There are some harder ones.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Including one that I don't even know the answer to this one. I looked it up today, so that one might not be fair. So we'll get to this. Okay. So let's start off. This is a little bit more of a basic question. Question 1: the Atlantic hurricane season is June 1st till November 30th. It can start before then, and it can end after that. But when is the peak date? Is it August 31st, September 4th, September 10th, or September 16th?
I know it's a September date.
The biggies in recent years I can think of, like
Ugh,
Helene was September, Matthew was September.
October.
September, October.
I'm good. Yeah, I was good. The 10th
Hugo
and the
was
16th are too
September.
close to each other. It's not Labor Day-ish, September 4th. So I'm going to go towards the end of September, and that.
What about you,
latest date give
Carlene?
me is the
I'll be
16th.
different. I'll do C for Carlene.
Ooh, that was a good choice. C is correct.
Oh, very good, Carlene.
All right, so it's an exact date, September 10th, where it's actually from August 1st to November 30th as a side fact. That's where we have 87% of all of our hurricanes. So it really just shows how backloaded the season is. Then once you get into August, it's usually more favorable water temperatures. There's less wind shear, depending, and you don't have as much of the Saharan dust that's kind of enabling and preventing this current storm from really forming. All right, so
right, very
Carlene,
good.
1 point.
Good
Not
for
that this is
you.
a competition, but we always love that. Okay. Ocean temperatures are a big factor about if a storm is going to develop or not, or if it's going to intensify. Ocean temperatures need to be at least what for tropical cyclones to form? Is it 75, 76, 78, or 80 degrees? And that's a depth of 150 feet down for our ocean temperatures.
I mean, it has to be definitely warm.
It's got to be toasty.
Toasty, yep, that is correct.
Because it's usually in the mid 80s when I see all
Okay.
the developing the eye vest storms out there when you guys are.
Carlene, are you going to back her up? Or are you going to go?
Gotta be different again.
I'll be different. I'll do B for brag.
Okay.
Okay.
It was D for delightful answer. Good job.
good job,
Okay, 1-1.
Jane.
All right, 1-1.
Yeah, it's 80 degrees. Now, in the other environments, if it's cooler than that, they usually will start to de-intensify. They'll start to get a little bit weaker, but 80 is the ideal range. All right, very good. Okay, so here is one that's kind of open up to kind of pick and choose. Maybe you can get this right multiple times. But Katrina was the costliest hurricane in U.S. history. Helene actually ranked as the 7th costliest. Can you name another hurricane that made the top 10 list for costliest hurricanes in U.S. history? You just have to name one for a point.
Is it is inflation, is it like?
Yeah,
is that a
all
factor?
these are factored in the 2024 numbers, no 2025, because with recent budget cuts they stopped doing
So
it.
name a hurricane in 24.
So no, name a hurricane anywhere dating back to 1950
Oh,
that is the
Andrew.
costliest.
I'll say Hugo.
Okay, let's see. Going on to the top 10 list, Andrew is the 9th costliest, but Hugo actually did not make the list. And the main reason why, Carlene, it was a good answer, but if Hugo had hit, say, in the year 2000, it probably would have done a lot more damage just because there weren't as many people living there where it actually was back in 1989. Andrew, 1992, would probably be close to Katrina if we had the population that they have closer to Dade County
But it was
back
Miami.
then. Yeah, but other ones, if you said Harvey, Ian,
Harvey.
Maria,
Ian.
Superstorm
Ian,
Sandy,
yeah.
Ida, Irma, Andrew, as you did, Jane, or Ike, you got credit for that question. All right, very good, very good.
There are a lot of eyes in there.
A lot of
I
eyes.
left that as a trivia question out, but one
Sorry?
interesting.
Okay.
No, I was gonna put it. I was like, no, I think I did ask you this before. But I is the most retired letter of the entire hurricane alphabet because they typically form around September 10th, the peak conditions.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Moving on. All right. There are 21 names on the hurricane list, but there's 26 letters in the alphabet. What letters are not used every year in the hurricane alphabet? So, what letters are not used in our alphabet, maybe because there's not enough names for them?
I'm going to say X.
I was gonna say Q.
Okay, that's two of the 5.
I can't think of any with Q. There's,
Z.
Z, yep, that's 3. You have 2 more letters. I'll give you a hint. One is literally directly in between 2 of the letters that you said.
Oh, Y?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
X, Y, and Z.
Okay, so you have Q, X, Y, Z, and there's one more letter. Let's see if you can think about it. One more letter.
That's what I'm going through the alphabet right now. What's a weird letter for?
G. U.
That is correct. Good job.
Yeah.
All right, both of you get a
It's all
point
towards
working
the end.
together. Q, U,
Okay.
X, Y, and Z. There's just not enough names. Of course, you can think of names, but besides like Uma,
Right.
That's it.
Quentin,
Ursula.
Quincy, yeah, you're gonna run out of it. There's Yvette, but after a while, there's not going to be enough, especially because they alternate male and female names. All right, very good, very good. Okay, now this one's a little bit trickier. What was the last hurricane to make landfall in North Carolina? So 2 key words here:
Carly got
landfall in North Carolina. Was it Florence, Ian, Isaias, or Dorian? And I'll give you the years. Florence was 2018, Ian was 2022, Isaias was 2020, and Dorian was 2019.
I think it's either.
And one of these did not make landfall in North Carolina to make it extra tricky.
Isaias was when?
2020.
I want to say it's.
You want to say B?
I want to say it's A or B.
All right.
We want to go B together. Want to go B?
B together.
Was it?
Isaias!
Oh, dude.
This was the
I
trick
was gonna
question
do
because
that.
Ian made landfall in South Carolina, not
That
North
was-
Carolina. So that I was trying to kind of say that.
Yep.
Isaias made direct landfall on the Outer Banks as it skirted by, and then Ian still did affect us, but not directly landfall. Yeah, so for landfall, the definition is where like half of its ice center is going to cross over that state. So, like for instance, Helene, even though it affected us, didn't actually make landfall here. It made landfall in Florida. Okay.
right.
All
Very
right.
good.
So these are 2 of the hardest ones. So just letting you know. So hurricanes were first named in 1950. Before that, they were just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What was the first name? And these names continued to change, but was it Alpha, Abel, Alice, or Anson?
I'm going to go Abel.
I'm gonna say Alice.
Okay. I want to give Carlene a half point, but then full point for Jane. It was Abel in 1950
Wow.
because you could take this 2 ways because Alice was technically the first real
Female.
name,
Oh.
the first name. Abel, the reason why it was used is because it's Abel, Baker, Charlie, Dog, the way that they had in the military alphabet. So that's why that came from. The other versions are Alpha,
Yeah.
then you can go on,
Bravo,
so on.
Bravo,
But Abel,
Charlie.
but Alice in 1953, they started using all female names. And then after a while, I was like, wait, why are females being named for all of these destructive monsters? So it was the late 70s,
Yeah.
1978 to 1979, that they
Started
started
using boy
alternating male and female names.
Men can be
love.
destructive too.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
very, very much so. Andrew, Hugo, not
Yes.
nice names whatsoever. Okay.
Okay.
42 hurricanes have reached Category 5 strength. How many do you think have made landfall as a Category 5? And if you're within a certain number, I'll give you
Are the
credit.
Price is Right rules?
And
No Price is Right rules.
don't have to go over. And is this, we're talking for the United States?
For the United States,
Okay,
yeah.
not,
As 42 that have
Central
reached
America.
Category 5 in the Atlantic, but only this number has made landfall as a Category 5. For example, Katrina was a Category 5, but made landfall as a Category 3.
I think it's less than 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say a handful for sure.
Okay, it is less than 5. So for the point, whoever guesses closest, less than 5.
I'll say 4.
2.
Carlene gets the point. It is 4. The Labor Day storm of 1935 made landfall
Michael,
around
I
Key
forgot
West.
Michael.
There was Camille that was devastating around Mississippi. We have Andrew that we already named. And then Michael, interesting enough, was actually, and Andrew, I think this happened too, there was technically a strong 4, but they upgraded it to a 5. So Michael at one point was like 155. They moved up to the 157, 160. So, all right, very good.
Wow.
I haven't been keeping track of the scores, but you guys are both doing great, all in all.
Yeah, that's
We
pretty
don't
much.
keep score
that,
here.
yeah.
Okay.
We're just here.
What
Yeah,
year
we're all winners.
had the most named storms on record? Was it 1933, 1992, 2005, or 2020?
I'm going to say 2020.
I think so too.
You are both correct. Very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember we had to go into double A's.
That's right.
or
We had to go. It was a lot. It was
Right?
a hefty year.
Yeah, no, it was an awful year just because all of a sudden you're dealing with obviously what was happening with the pandemic, and then all of a sudden you had 30 named hurricanes and tropical storms, and that was epic because it beat 2005, which obviously is most known for Katrina. But I also had the most Category 5s on record, and those are the only 2 years, 2020 and 2005, that we went on to the Greek auxiliary alphabet.
right. Yeah, that's-
so pretty much they ran out of names, so they have to be
Go.
able to move on to that. And they actually, since 2020, we now have a backup name list. So instead of going to Alpha, Beta, Gamma, there's a new list, which would be weird. I'm not looking forward to that because that means all of a sudden
Seriously.
it'll go W to A again. So,
Right.
so that'll be a whole different beast. Well,
Yeah.
that concludes our trivia. Great job, y'all. Give yourself a round of applause. That was
Very
awesome.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, 2020 was a banner year for all the wrong
Oh
reasons.
man, I know.
All right.
And we're hoping that it's not going to be anything like that for 2025. Now the good news is we aren't in a La Nina year, which is usually more favorable. That's where you're going to have better conditions, less wind shear. But there's still some similarities that we're stacking up. We kind of talked about this before. It only takes just one, but we have a very similar start to what 2017 had. And 2017 was a very quiet year until names like Harvey, Maria, and Irma, which by the way were all on that top 10 list, formed. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen. It's just that that's the most recent comparison I'm seeing as far as our water temperatures and our atmospheric conditions with La Nina to La Nada. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. The last time that we didn't have a landfalling hurricane or tropical storm was 2015. So it's been a while here in the United States. So I would love an off year. We don't need this.
Right.